Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Shruti Mishra. These are the top headlines from the startup space. EV maker Ather Energy raises $50 million from existing investor Caladium Investment at a valuation of $750 to $800 million, sources tell CNBC-TV18. The fundraise comes in an extended Series E round of $128 million, led by NIIF, Strategic Opportunities Fund and Hero MotoCorp. Meta's revenue in India crosses $2 billion or roughly 16,000 crore rupees in FY22 with a 74% increase year-on-year as Instagram draws ad spends. The social media giant's India arm also reports a net profit at nearly 300 crore rupees over the same period. SoftBank decides to dump its entire stake in struggling UK e-commerce company THG with a write-off of $450 million. Qatar Investment Authority and the company's co-founder to buy the shares, with SoftBank set to pocket just $31 million in exchange for its 10% stake in the company. Microsoft lays off around 1,000 employees across several divisions as per an Axios report. With this, Microsoft joins Meta, Twitter and Snap among the top US tech companies that have cut jobs and scaled back hiring in recent months amidst a global economic slowdown. Global fashion trade platform from India, Revoy, raises nearly 50 crore rupees for its invoice financing arm from Kilde. Revoy, which connects over 10 global retailers with more than 80 factories in India and Bangladesh, wants to expand its operations by 4 times and enter the US markets. Well, those are the headlines we are tracking for you this evening. It's a busy time for all businesses with the festive season in full swing. In fact, traders body CAIT expects up to 2.5 lakh crore rupees infusion into the market through sales and service, and fulfilling the surge in demand are last mile delivery startups who are also the backbone of India's offline and online commerce economy. So how are these companies geared for the biggest sales event of the year, and what kind of demand surge are they witnessing? Joining me now are two very different logistics startups. My first guest is the co-founder and COO of Shadowfax, an e-commerce logistics aggregator. Also joining us is Eugene Panfilov, General Manager India for Borzo, a hyper-local delivery service, earlier known as VFast. Gentlemen, welcome to Startup Street. And Praharsh, let me start with you first. How happy is this Diwali turning out to be for Shadowfax? I believe you're seeing a growth of 80% to 100% compared to last year.
First of all, thank you for having us here. So the sales season is going absolutely phenomenal. To be very honest, we entered the season in a very poor macro environment. So there was an expectation that the numbers, while we've taken some targets, the numbers might be a little off. But the Indian consumer has surprised us to nth, right? We're seeing peaks of almost 4 to 5 times what we usually do. And I must remind you, we're in the middle of the peak season, so it's going quite great.
All right. Eugene, let me come to you now. Borzo currently has over 35,000 courier partners, and you recently onboarded 4,000 partners for the festive season. What kind of demand are you seeing? And if you could elaborate on the kind of preparation you had to do to cater to this demand.
So it's quite obvious that the consumer sentiments right now are at peak during festival season, and we are quite well prepared across all our cities where we operate. There was a big question for us how this first post-pandemic year appear on our charts and graphs, but so far we see significant increase and interest from our loyal customers. So the main reason why we are onboarding delivery partners, obviously, because we need to fulfill all the demand which is coming right now. That's only possible when you have sufficient delivery partners for the season.
All right, okay. Praharsh, coming back to you, where is the demand coming from? And if you could share some insights, what are people buying and what are brands selling most this season?
Oh, for sure. So the demand is essentially coming from e-commerce, right? And 2 primary categories are driving it. The first one would be mobile phones. As you know, most of the e-commerce players in the industry are selling them in good discounts during the peak season, and that's what we're seeing moving most. But what has been interesting to see is that fashion has been doing phenomenally great, and especially a lot of these social commerce platforms that are there, they've seen a tremendous upswing in volumes. And I can talk about a lot of them doing actually 5 to 6 times peak of what they usually do. So I would say those 2 are the most fast, or are the fastest and highest moving categories that we've seen in the market. What we've also seen is that there's been a tremendous push towards same day and next day delivery models. So a lot of consumers are also selecting faster delivery, apart from, of course, the categories that they're picking.
Okay. Eugene, coming to you now. Borzo works at both ends of the market, be it B2B and B2C. Where are you seeing most traction this festive season, and how have you scaled operations to being in more MSMEs?
Yes, so you're absolutely right. Originally we are catering a lot of SMEs, and the categories which are growing during this festival season, as Praharsh said, is e-commerce, D2C brands, but also our original products which we were moving since we started in India, which are Diwali-related gift hampers, apparels, electronic items, many more. So, in fact, people prefer right now quicker deliveries, and here we plug our services effectively by assisting companies across sector to keep their consumers happy as well.
Okay, all right. We've spoken about the kind of festive demand we're seeing and from where it's coming from. But Praharsh, you have partnered with ShipRocket, one of the largest e-commerce shipping enablement platforms, to facilitate same-day and next-day deliveries for D2C brands like you've got Boat, Mama Earth, and MyGlam. What is the kind of impact you hope to create with this partnership, and how does this partnership really give you a competitive edge when compared to traditional logistics solutions?
Yeah, so see, from a market perspective, we've seen speed and express services to be quite key to ensure there is good customer sentiment and customer delight. What we intend to do, and that's been our mission as well, we want to democratize delivery for all of the small businesses, D2C brands that are there in the market. And ShipRocket is essentially an aggregator which has a lot of these platforms working with them so that they can work with logistics players. So we kind of intend to leverage this scale of partners that they have and essentially give all of these brands access to high-speed delivery, which, as you would know, is traditionally done by people like Amazon or a Flipkart. So that's what we intend to enable in the market. And given that we work quite a lot in hyperlocal, speed has always been the core of what we work in. And we're seeing a tremendous surge in speedy deliveries since the pandemic finished, right? So we intend to scale that up quite a lot and essentially use the partnership as a sounding board to give access to faster logistics to most of the sellers that are there on the market.
All right. Eugene, picking up from what, Praharsh just said, major logistics players are entering last mile logistics to tap D2C and e-commerce brands. How do you view competition, and how do you plan to grab a bigger share of the market? And if you could also talk to us about, the stiff competition there is, and how do you look at the quick commerce and quick deliveries as a business model, especially given the high cash burn?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. So traditionally, we base our business model on SMEs, but we are definitely also eyeing and already for a couple of years working in a hyperlocal segment as well as with large e-commerce players. This includes cosmetic brands, D2C brands as well. So yeah, and the competition in both segments obviously is very, very difficult right now. At the same time, Borzo have been probably one of most capital efficient companies so far. So we because of our technology, because of the marketplace which we are building, we do not burn that much. And I think this is one of our competitive advantages on the market right now.
All right, Eugene and Praharsh, we've completely run out of time, but many thanks for joining us on the show and wish you the very best with all your growth plans.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Moving on the hot seat segment, we've got an interesting company. But before that, a quick fact. By 2025, over 1 billion women worldwide will experience menopause. Despite it being a phenomenon that every woman goes through in India and globally, holistic solutions addressing it are limited. So today, on World Menopause Day, we decided to put the spotlight on Elda Health, a full-stack women's healthcare platform. Co-founder and CEO Swati Kulkarni joins me now to tell us how Elda Health is holistically solving for all menopausal issues. Swati, welcome to Startup Street. Now, while menopause lasts up to 1/3 of a woman's lifetime, very little has been done to create awareness and empathy. In fact, reports suggest that diagnosis of depression is 2.5 times more likely in menopausal transition. Tell me, how are you helping women cope with depression? How is Elda Health educating families and creating awareness?
Shruti, thank you for having me here. I think this is the first step, and a very happy Menopause Day to you as well as all our viewers. Like you said, the first step that we take to ensure that we are solving for a health concern is to make those women educated and aware of the issues that they face. So ELDA as a platform actually runs a number of awareness workshops, webinars, where we not only educate the woman who's going through menopause, but also the family members, their partners, the parents, the children. We've engaged with a number of corporations, right? Whether it's MNCs or small startups. I think we ensure that all these employees are educated about what menopause is.
Okay.
You mentioned clinical depression.
Yes.
I think mental health is a spectrum of mood swings, anger, fearfulness, as well as clinical depression. At ELDA, we have specific scientific programs such as ELDA Unwind program, where the lady is basically taken to therapy, has yoga for mind, as well as an accountability partner to ensure that she's feeling better by the end of the program.
Okay, like you mentioned, Swati, the symptoms mostly are hot flashes, sleep, thyroid issues, mood swings. But tell me, how grave can the situation get if not treated properly and timely?
So let me tell you, I'm a midlife woman, and the fact that I'm able to run a company is because I've been able to manage these symptoms really well. Whether it's a board meeting that you attend when you have hot flashes, or when you're running a company, or at home when you're the center of all the personal issues, I think menopause has to be treated very timely. If you can't treat or manage your symptoms, you have a higher probability of having metabolic issues such as cardiovascular diseases, osteoporosis towards your 60s and 70s. So I think not just timely management, but good management will help the woman have a better life quality. And I think that's what ELDA aspires to do.
ELDA is a full-stack women's healthcare platform starting with a focus on menopause. Tell me, how is ELDA helping women understand their health issues, identify precautionary measures, gain access to meaningful diagnosis, and above all, prioritize their own health? If you could take me through your offerings.
So I would like to explain it as a three-pillared approach. I think the first pillar for us is, of course, holistic wellness. You can't treat a woman without multidisciplinary approach. So we have experts, the top experts in India, whether it's gynec, menopause specialization, nutrition and diet, or yoga, along with therapy sessions. So that's one aspect. We also have accountability partners who are health coaches who ensure that the lady doesn't fall through. The second approach that we use is very patient-centric and empathetic approach. So all our providers who are on our platform are extremely customer-focused, or I would say the woman-focused. The third one is, of course, our technology, which helps us unleash scale. And we're able to have conversations with our women very discreetly through our app, through our website, and so on.
Sure.
The offerings are a number of programs across the spectrum.
Okay. Now, ELDA Health has educated over 40,000 midlife women and made them aware of menopause symptoms. What is the kind of impact you've made so far? What is the improvement you've seen in your clients? And if you could also take me through the kind of growth ELDA Health is seeing currently.
So Shruti, menopause is a huge market. We have a target audience, which is almost around $160 billion in India itself. As we speak, there are 150 million women who are going through menopause. And every year, 10 million women are getting added to this. Now, if you look at it globally, we have around over 1 billion women who are going through menopause by 2025. The market globally is around $600 billion. So I think we are barely scratching the surface. We've got 40,000 customers today who take part in our intervention programs and our awareness programs.
Okay.
I think timely management, as you say, is super critical.
Yes.
Now, we are seeing quarter growth. We are basically 100% growth over quarter and quarter. We are seeing 100% improvement in our paying customers, in our new customers who are coming in, and most of them today are coming in through word of mouth and referral because they've seen an improvement in their health condition.
All right, one final question. If you could take me through your revenue model, how are you planning to make money? If you could talk about your partnerships and the future growth targets. Like you said, it is a $600 billion market globally. So how do you plan to further expand and grow?
So I think broadly, we've, like I said, just scratched the surface. It's a $600 billion market with $160 billion right here now in India. We're looking at 1.3 million women community in the next 18 months, both through our digital as well as holistic programs, and looking at around 20 million women in the next 5 years. So our women basically see around 85% health outcomes, which means that they are seeing improvement in their biomarkers, whether it's cholesterol, HbA1c, or uric acid levels. Like I said, on this World Menopause Day, we are all able to sort of educate people and ensure that we are able to equip women. I think not just the goal of ELDA, but our country can definitely go ahead much faster.
Absolutely, Swati, and wish you the very best for that. Many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today.